Don't play no music.
We about to get this thing, ain't we? Hey, what's up?
What's going on? What's happening?
Up?
What is happening? We are back again for another installment.
Yes.
Of My Marriage is
marriage. Dope. Woo!
My Marriage is
You
Dope.
See the heat?
Podcast.
You see the heat? My marriage is dope.
My marriage
is
dope. These marriages be dope out here in these streets.
I just got.
Come on,
what's
pop it.
What's the young
Pop
folks
that
say?
thing.
Pop it.
Pop that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're saying pop it.
Listen, we old.
You right now, no, you old, right? Because I know not even to try to attempt to say what the young folks are saying.
You know.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
What makes you so good? Why you so good?
I'm good. I've had a great day today. Mm-hmm. Other than having to do all of that driving.
What you talking about?
Yeah, the driving that you had me do. Didn't want to do that. But I adjusted. I made the adjustment. And y'all, he has me spoiled, right? Listen, I'm going to tell the truth.
Talk about it.
He has me spoiled with driving as he should. Right? Let's say that. And his body was sore. He was working out. He did a lot of walking, and he really overextended. His body is sore, and he asked me to drive. And in my head, I was like,
come on, talk about what's going on in your head.
I was just like, I don't want to drive. But I because I'm spoiled in that way, and I immediately made the adjustment and drove. And y'all, we had to drive to Florida.
Man, we had to drive a long way.
McDonough, from where we are.
It's like driving. For those of y'all who live in Atlanta, you know there's this ongoing, kind of a feud or battle, depending on where you live. If you live east of the city, it's like driving to South Carolina. If you live west of the city, it's like you going to Alabama.
Crazy.
If you live south, it's like you feel like you're going to Florida. And if you live north, you feel like you're going to New York or something. Thank you, baby.
So you're welcome, honey. You see how we got each other? You know what I'm saying? The lips are chapped. Don't leave your man just hanging. You know what I'm saying? Help him out.
Leave him out there. Leave him out there. No. So today, man. Today. Mm-hmm. I was thinking. Does Shirley treat me like a boyfriend? Like, is she my girlfriend? Right? And so I was thinking, man, what? Like back in the day, 27 years ago. 27. Mm-hmm. Right, we met, and it was something going on, man.
Yeah, we actually had a very active dating experience.
Very active, actually.
We would, of course, the typical go to the movies, go out to eat, right? Shannon and I would go. We were living in Huntsville, Alabama, and they had this park. What was it called?
Big Spring Park?
Big Spring Park. Mm-hmm. We would go down there and just walk and sit on the bench and hold hands and talk for hours.
She put them feet up in, on my lap so I could.
I did.
Right?
Right.
And then we was,
and then we
was bumping uglies.
We was bumping uglies.
Bumping uglies like rabbits. Rabbits.
And then we would cook for each other. Well, really, you would cook for us.
Yes.
Shannon was the primary cook back then.
A lot of cooking going on.
I mean, Shannon, he was trying to get me fat so nobody else would want me.
Excuse
me for all the heavy set girls. I'm heavy set, so no offense, right? But Shannon would make these fat burgers. And I had never had a burger like that. Right?
Fat burgers.
Like, you go to McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King, these real thin burgers. And even at home, back in the day, we were flattening the burgers. Mm-hmm. But Shannon,
these joints was
juicy,
and it was juicy and flavorful.
Oh my gosh, this man could cook.
This when we was all on the flesh game.
Yes.
Early in the game, right?
Oh yeah.
And
so we did a lot. We traveled up north several times.
Mm-hmm. We did a lot.
We did a lot while we were dating.
We were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep.
And so what like when you right now, or I don't want to give you. Do I want to say if you were single? No. what would be your what is a boyfriend and what is a girlfriend? Like, what is that? How would you describe that that phase or that stage?
I mean, that process is you're getting to know each other, of course. Hello, right? But if you're talking about like what is the purpose of dating?
No, not the purpose, but just that phase. Like, what is it? What makes it special? What made it special for you?
I think what makes it special just for humans across the board is because it's new. Anything new. I mean, you think about, receiving gifts and you're in love with it, and then
You could take your glasses off if you want.
do I need to take my glasses off?
Because you.
Right?
We
And so
we need to get some new glasses.
yeah, I know we do, baby. And so it's the newness. It's like you don't know, right? The exploratory experience is exciting. And that's why you have butterflies, because like you don't know what comes next.
Right.
You're literally uncovering, unpackaging a gift
A whole-
little by little,
right, a
not
whole
not
human
all at
being,
once.
a whole
right,
human
a whole
gift.
human, right.
And all of the intricacies that come along with it. What do they like? It's like an age of discovery. It is, you trying to, and listen, everybody is trying to fire on all cylinders.
Yes.
Everybody, you're not trying to fart. You don't want to fart. You're trying to poop, and you're like, oh,
Right.
oh my God, you right?
my gosh.
You listen. You would go. Listen, I would go if before I came to your house. I would make sure I went to the bathroom so I wouldn't have to have those feelings
Right.
being at the house. Because the
Yes.
worst thing is if you bumping uglies and then you passing all manner
my
of gas
goodness.
and all that kind of
Or
stuff.
shoot, just sit there and I'm twitching, trying to squeeze my butt cheeks together, so I wouldn't fart.
Right.
Right. It's like
or you don't your stuff stink real
Right,
bad.
right.
So you don't want to take a number 2, right? Take a dump while visiting your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
which is so crazy because all of this is natural.
It is so natural.
It's natural.
It is so natural.
But it's amazing how it just turns us off in the beginning stages.
Right. And look, you said it excellently. It is a turnoff. Right? Nobody wants to know. I don't want to know that that you are this, you are this pretty, just attractive, just sexy girl, and now you farting, right? Or you burping, right? And you love to eat.
I love.
Now, did you feel that whole anxiety about, ladies don't want to seem like they're eating a lot,
Oh
during.
yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Oh yes, I did. Of course.
But it didn't affect you because you were eating.
Listen, you made me feel comfortable when it came to eating.
Right.
But still, I have this thing where I eat extremely fast.
Right.
So I was very conscious about, I don't want to eat too fast because I don't want him to think I'm greedy.
Right.
Of course, I didn't want to pass gas in front of you. I did not want to make a boo-boo at your house.
Right.
I mean, all of these things come into play because we want to paint a perfect picture.
We want to paint a perfect picture. I remember, you talked about the newness of a relationship, but there really was this, in a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, there is this kind of, desire, maintain this certain level of intimacy, a certain level of intensity, a certain level of, affection, like every area, affectionately, financially, like you want to be absolutely perfect, right? And so this idea of being your boyfriend, not just your husband, because it's different.
Yeah, very different.
Right, it's a different connotation. It's a different mindset. Sometimes, as your husband, I feel the weight of protection and provision.
Yes.
Right. If money is tight, if things are not the way they're supposed to be. I remember the absolute. I remember the transition from being your boyfriend.
Yeah, listen,
to being your husband.
You are taking on a responsibility. As my boyfriend, you are taking on a task, and you can choose to not do the task anymore or do the task. And yes, as a spouse, you can still choose, but that decision is different.
Right.
It comes with so many dynamics to just be like, oh, I'm just going to not do this anymore.
Right.
Right? I literally am your responsibility. When you go to the altar, it's who gives this woman, to this man. The father is giving, he's saying, I'm no longer taking care of her. This is your responsibility.
This is my responsibility. And at that moment,
That's when,
there was a transition. I remember because so we got married.
Right.
But then we had a wedding. Right? I still remember being married to you feeling like your boyfriend. I remember driving up to New Jersey where the wedding was going to be, feeling like your boyfriend.
Wow.
But I remember there was a distinct transition from being your boyfriend to being your husband.
Was it when we jumped the broom?
It was when we jumped the broom. Right? Yes. You were my girlfriend walking down the aisle.
Yes.
You were my fiance. Right. You were just so beautiful. And,
oh man.
I just remember our wedding. I remember our wedding pictures.
Yes.
It was just you were so gorgeous. And we jumped that broom. We were standing in line greeting everybody. Right. And I'm like, shit, I'm
married.
I'm married.
Like, I literally have to make sure her needs are met.
Right. So then there was this transition, and admittedly, I got to admit to you and to the people, I left the boyfriend behind. I left the boyfriend in the dust. There was no more boyfriend. No.
Right.
No. I'm no boyfriend no more right now. I don't
because
have no time
you're thinking what?
I'm thinking I got stuff to do. I can't. There are things to do, and then soon into our marriage, we got pregnant.
Yes, very.
So now
3 months.
it's like, whoa! Right. Now the rubber is really meeting the road,
right?
And I don't have no time to be thinking about being romantic. I don't have no time to be trying to seduce you. I got to make sure I'm making this money. I got to make sure I'm trying to, and then in the whole, during all of that, now I'm trying to realize my dreams. I'm trying to find my passion.
Right.
I'm trying to look to see how, because, ideas come to me like water, in the rain.
So are you now thinking, how am I going to take care of this family? You're just full speed ahead with that.
Hella family and hella my needs, meaning how do I fit in my needs with this family, not this wife. I'm not thinking about you as a wife. I'm thinking about you now as a family. Like that's a thing. That's an entity in and of itself, and it is.
Right? Yeah.
But you lost your wifeliness, if that makes sense. Like you lost that.
So I lost the girlfriendness.
No. Right. Well, I put. You definitely lost the girlfriendness.
Then I lost the wifeliness early.
You lost the wifeliness early because now the wifeliness morphed into the familyness, and it was this greater thing. Like as you're a wife as an individual, but you are part of a family, and the family is my responsibility.
Right.
And it's like, God is going to, look at me and ask me, what did I do with my family? And, and it's like, who? Right. It was a different just frame of reference, a different mindset, a different thought process altogether. And so, but look, here I am forgetting about you being, like I said, your wifeliness went, but now I'm looking for my girlfriend. My response, how I view you as a girlfriend and a wife went out the window, but I still needed a girlfriend and a wife.
Right.
And when
I needed a husband, but I still needed my boyfriend.
Well, your boyfriend, right.
Yeah.
You definitely needed to have your husband.
Yes.
Right? He needed to show up and cover you in prayer and ensure that, that
We
there
had a
were
roof
resources.
over our head.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And, but so cause how does that transition happen? Because in Philadelphia, we were in the city of brotherly love, living with my mother and my sister, and we ain't do nothing.
We didn't. We did not.
We did a couple of things. Remember, we went to the race that time, to the cycling race,
I remember.
right?
I remember that.
We went to the movies a couple of times, but all of the culture, all of the jazz spots or the neo soul spots, like neo soul was huge then, and they were little open mics and little wonderful events that we could have gone to, and we didn't do none of that.
We didn't, and that's why it's.
And it's not like we didn't have the money.
Right. That's why it's so important for those who are, dating and in transition to marry, to don't leave who you were when you were dating behind. Right? And
don't leave who you were as a couple.
As a couple, right. And some of you may say, well, we didn't have a strong dating experience, but you know what you would have wanted it to look like. Create that, right? Because we have to understand that whatever environment we are in, we have created it. Good, bad,
or indifferent.
Indifferent. We have created it.
Yep. And so these environments are, believe it or not, they're manufactured. It's something that we create, and it's out of this sense of desire to want to grow closer and attraction and chemistry. Sometimes not chemistry. Like you and I, you didn't necessarily see me as your type, and I didn't see you as my type. But there was a friendship there. There was fun. We made each other laugh, and we were definitely attracted to each other on a very fundamental level. But we didn't have quote unquote chemistry. Right, because I wasn't thuggish enough for you. Right? You remember that?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
You still traumatized by it? Yes, I loved the thugs, and he had his pants up to here.
Come on, you keep saying
but
that my pants were.
His belt, he had his little belt, and he was just like, he came out the military, had his thing buttoned all the way up to the top. I was like, ooh.
I wasn't buttoned all the way to the top.
He is such a nice little nerd.
No.
You were the nicest, funniest little dork.
I was fly, man, in my head.
No.
I was so fly in my head. I wasn't fly.
I know you were. But listen, you said something key.
What was that?
The friendship part. A lot of people are having challenges, and this is just a little sidebar. A lot of people are having challenges in their relationships, and they are having a hard time getting past the challenge, because when you don't like somebody, you cannot even begin to work on the relationship.
When you don't have that, go ahead.
Right? No, so I'm saying that's why we have to have the mentality when we get married of, this is my boyfriend. Like, what does that look like? This is my girlfriend. What does that look like? What environment am I going to create? How am I going to reignite, right, that excitement when we were dating? Listen, it was all a decision. We just have to realize it is still a decision. We can't allow the traumas to make us think that the decision is no longer there to choose wisely, to choose differently.
It is. Speaking of fires.
What?
Oh, you remember when I had you butt naked in front of the fire?
Say that again. Say that again.
When I was, we was boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was.
And you had me butt naked in front of the fire.
You didn't want your mama to know that? I don't think your mama has YouTube. I don't think Bobby has YouTube. But so fire, I have this affinity for fire.
I do too.
Right? My affinity, you like to watch it and
Yes.
feel the warmth of it.
Yeah.
I like to keep the fire going. Right? And so when you keep the fire going, if you remember that day, that time, and then I had a fireplace, you had a fireplace. I had to keep the logs moving.
Oh, you love that. Oh, yeah.
Right? I had my little poker stoking it.
Yeah.
Right? Moving it around and knowing when to put the next log on and not letting it get down too far. Right? That's what's happening when we're dating. That's what's happening when we're boyfriend and girlfriend. We are moving the fire around and knowing the right time to put the log on. And if reciprocally, we don't know how to do that, the fire goes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're in the dating space, right? When the fire starts going down and going down and going down, that's when you start losing interest.
Right.
And you start moving on to the next.
Come on.
Correct? Come on now.
High
I was going to bring
five.
it around.
High
Come on. This is what I do. I do this.
You do this.
I do this, right? So the fire starts to die, and what some people do is instead of going through the work that it takes to restart the fire, they just let it die out completely. And then they build a whole new fire. When they could have kept that one raging, or at least smoldering, like there to be. All you got to do is put the right kind of fuel on it, and then it's going to be this. Come on,
somebody,
come on! I tell you, this is what I do.
The analogy
I do this for a living, right? And so we found ourselves in a marriage at some point in time. I don't know when it was. I don't know if it was really. I think it was more after we moved back to Huntsville from Philadelphia, and our fire was going out.
Yeah, it was going out.
It was in the smoldering stage, and even though we were back with friends that we loved and a church that we adored, and we felt so free into worship, we were not connected. We were so far apart, and it was almost like we were. You could see us like losing the grip on each other, but it was nothing we could do. But like we didn't know what to do about it. Right. And that thing got to a point where it was just smoldering embers.
Mercy.
Smoldering embers, but it kind of just stayed at that state. No, our fire went out.
I was about to say
we didn't go.
Dust, honey.
We didn't leave. Right, but it was out. It was for the most part. There was no heat there to if we put something on it, it wouldn't have lit.
Right.
Because it was out.
It was out.
And I know because I'm a very romantic person, and you know my mind. My mind is I'm always planning and scheming and plotting and looking up flights and looking up hotels. I'll be up late at night looking at places for Shirley and I to go and for stuff for us to do, and I wasn't doing that, and I'm sorry that I did that I allowed that to happen. I mean I was immature and challenged. Like I didn't have the skill set to even know what to do. What do you do? How do you think in your with your now where you are now, 25 years in the game, marriage coach to the stars, to some of the highest, most influential influencers, entrepreneurs, right? Shirley Perry Austin. How do you get someone to understand how to become their husband's girlfriend again? Like how do you get them back to that point?
Well, one of the main things is to really as women, right, we have a challenging time listening to what it is our spouse is telling us about us. That is one of the number one things in our coaching practice that we have seen. And even before we ever had a coaching practice, just talking to couples, which is something that we've done in depth for double-digit years.
Right.
99.9% of the men say that, right? And so we know it's a thing. And just talking to women, I really do see that we really internalize when our spouse doesn't like something about us, right? We can't separate the fact from what we feel.
Right.
And so we make the thing more about our feeling than the fact.
Wow.
Right? And so
if you're not very nice or you're not very loving, not even on some superficial aesthetic stuff, right? But on just a very practical level, if I tell you you have a stank attitude or you there's something about your character that is flawed and I'm pointing it out.
I'm going to find a reason why that is.
And
I'm not telling you, I'm telling you what I've done. Right? Y'all, this is my experience of what I did when Shannon pointed out. This isn't just all the other hundreds and thousands of people who we know have done this. I'm talking about our experience, right? And so there was always a reason why I did what I did. I would not have done what I did if you didn't do what you did. Right? That is so prevalent in relationships, and it is killing relationships. Right? Why would you want to be my boyfriend?
Right.
Like, seriously.
Right.
Why would you?
Right.
There's nothing there when you see this pattern, because things become patterns. When you see this pattern, what is compelling you? Now you're just trying to keep your head above water, trying to, you know what I'm saying, get through this thing. I mean, I could go on. You want me to go on?
I do. I want you to go on. I do, because it really is. That's like probably one of the reasons why men are just bumping their heads up against the wall. Because see, when you're dating, you can't be honest. Relationships where people are, when I say honest,
You should be.
No, when I say honest, I mean, hey, while we're dating, I say, I know something about you. You kind of selfish. I mean, I still want to be with you. I don't want to not be with you or whatever, but you ever thought about addressing that, or you ever thought about dealing with that? Ain't nobody doing that.
And for all of you who are watching that are dating, allow somebody to tell you that. And you tell somebody else that. And if they cannot receive it, that is a yellow flag.
But to your point, instead of examining the facts, like asking the questions, why would you say that?
Right.
What is it? What is it about me that gives you that impression? Right? Instead of asking those kinds of questions, we immediately get defensive. Right? We immediately
we're going to protect ourselves. Our guard is going to go up.
Protect mode.
And we are going to attack.
Yes.
That is what we do as women.
And the attack is the deflection.
And the attack is the deflection.
From the truth.
Yes. Because it's hard to see that I'm not perfect.
Come on.
That's hard for a woman.
Come on.
Right? We have this thing where, see, let me say something. When we went through our affair, one of the most challenging things for me was the fact that I had not ever been in an affair. So you were the enemy. And I could not see. You would say, honey, you're doing X, Y, and Z. To me, it didn't hold a candle to you having an affair. Right?
To the things, my deficiencies.
Right? And so now, 27 years in, I understand that, couples come to us and they say, oh, he's cheated or she's cheated and all of that. And so then when we say, well, what are the challenges that you have with your wife? You've cheated, but what are the challenges you've had with your wife or your husband? And then they'll say what it is. And I'll say, Well, do you realize that you cheated as well? No, I did not. I did not cheat. I wasn't out here messing with no other man, and I wasn't out here messing with no other woman. No. But what you did do was you disrespected them. You embarrassed them in front of people. You allow your parents to run your household. You withheld sex from them. You abandoned them emotionally. That is a form of cheating. That is not being faithful. Right? And so we put these things in boxes and then think that because we're not in that box, then
we're straight.
We're straight, and you don't have the right to talk about me.
But the damage is equal, and sometimes greater.
Yep.
Right. Not to diminish, an adulterous affair, but I would say to you all the time, like, okay, so let's say I didn't cheat. Would you want me to be sitting in these feelings?
Right.
Would you want me to be feeling like would you be wanting me to there were times I wanted to just end my life. Like this is it. And people would say, why would you end your life? Why don't you just go on? Like I'm not really, it's not that simple for me to just move on and leave my children and that was not how I was made up. And I wish I was, at the time made up to not, be unfaithful with my wife, but, I didn't kill myself at least, or I didn't, kill you, or I didn't, all these other, outcomes that we could have experienced, right? But we lose sight of the fact that that having those types of relationships, those kinds of closeness, requires the one of us, or us individually, to really, really look deep at who we are, what we're providing, what we're bringing to the table, and are we adding value, right? The value add had decreased so much to the point where, we were just kind of throwing up our hands and saying, oh well. And I think, of course we turned the corner, but even now, I think that we could even grow even further by looking at how we can move further into that space of that boyfriend and girlfriend. Like we solidly husband and wife. We're not going nowhere. Right? We're here, right? So we might as well have fun.
Yeah.
We might as well enjoy each other. We might as well, just experience life on a really, really high level.
And then another thing, right? When we're dating, we have so much compassion and empathy for the other person.
Why do you think that
we are so understanding? Because we want to come off a certain way. We don't want to come off like we're impatient, or I don't got time to deal with all of that. We don't want to know, right? Who wants to look like that person? And so when we're married, right, then the impatience, it shows. The lack of compassion, and it's like, well, wait a minute. When we were dating, right, that was there. And so, when it comes to dealing with each other in our marriage, the whole, boyfriend, girlfriend construct, it's like, because listen, early on, you and work, that was just, whew.
What?
You and work, you were not consistent. Crickets if you want to. Shall I tell some stories?
Yeah, please tell some stories.
Oh, okay. When talking about work, right? And marriage and taking care of a family. We were living with mom and sister in Philly, y'all, right? So we left Huntsville. Our son was 6 months old. We said we would give ourselves 6 months and find our own place. So we get up there. Now we're in year 1, year 2, Year 3, still living with his mom.
We had an extra child.
It's yeah.
We had a whole extra child.
You were a whole capable person that could work. Now, Shannon worked as a nurse then. But this was my gripe with Shannon. He is the walk-off king. Shannon will go to work. Y'all, like an hour later, he'd be home. And I'm like, what happened?
It wasn't right, Doc.
Oh,
No, they got me in unsafe conditions.
They got me on this floor and that. And I'm like, ugh. Like, what?
You was like, what?
Right? That was him. Then there was a time, y'all.
Come on, tell
where
all my business.
he just didn't feel like working, like depressed or whatever. Then he got this brain fart idea. I want a bike. I want like a $4,000 bike. So he's not working to get us in our own place, works his behind off for a $4,000 bike.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to pause you just for a moment.
Pause me.
Right? Here, where's I want to pause you.
Mm-hmm.
I was working to get that bike.
That's my point. You worked to get the bike.
Right. So
you didn't work.
So don't be representing me like I didn't work. I worked. But
Y'all, what did I say?
Was in the
I
wrong
said
place.
he wasn't working for a minute. He just didn't feel like going in. And then he wanted a bike. And then you was like, I need to get this bike. And so you hit the ground running.
Where was I? When
My
Khalif
point was
born?
you did not hit
Where
the
was I when
ground
I got the
running
call?
to get us into.
Where was I when I got the call?
So how am I going to treat you like a boyfriend? Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
That's in my mind.
But pause just for a second.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back to the My Marriage is Dope podcast. I am your host, Shannon Austin. And
Perfect time.
And I'm here with my fellow host. Who are you?
I'm Shirley, y'all.
Shirley Austin, Coach Cheryl in the building. And we're talking about how amazing of a husband that I am and how hard that I work for my family. So go ahead and continue.
I'm just saying, in those
But
times, I don't want to treat you like a boyfriend.
Real quick. Mm-hmm. Where was I when I got the call that Khalif was going into labor? Where was I?
At work?
I was at work. I just want to say I was at work. Now I did.
Where was I?
I said you was
when I went into labor.
You was in the bed
at his mama house. At his mama house.
It was warm.
After
and loving
3 years.
Loving. No, not after 3 years, because Khalif and Jelani are too close together to be. It had been 3 years. Now I did keep you there.
Okay.
To your credit,
thank you.
I did keep you in my parents' house way too long.
Way too long.
And I struggled and was challenged by
and it wasn't even
purpose.
And it wasn't even because right, but it wasn't even because it was like I loved his mom and his sister. Mm-hmm. It was zero bad blood.
We needed our own place.
But we needed our own space.
Yeah, we needed our own space.
So I'm not feeling the boyfriend girlfriend vibe.
No vibe at all?
Listen, I'm feeling the husband vibe. Get your tail to work and get us our own place. That's what I'm feeling.
Right. No, you're right. And you should have been feeling that. Mm-hmm. And so that I guess that's around the time that your girlfriend went out the window then. It was like in that space and time.
I guess.
And she stayed gone for so long, though. She was gone for a while.
She was out looking for her boyfriend. She couldn't find him.
Right.
She couldn't find him.
Wow.
Right.
That's deep. Come on now. These Austins.
Come on.
These Austins and these analogies, right? So what do you? How does one rekindle that, right? So one of the ways that we can begin to reverse this trend, this downward trend, I guess it would be of losing that status of boyfriend and girlfriend, is to really begin to be honest with ourselves, right? That when we coach, one of the tools that we use for coaching is the 4 agreements, right? And those two middle agreements, which are don't take anything personally and don't make any assumptions. Like those two right there can begin to turn the tide. If I say something to you, if we're in a tough place and we are trying to turn the tide, and I say something to you, like you said, be able to look at the facts of the thing. If the facts are off, then deal with just the facts, but don't deal with the once you begin to take things personally, like a personal attack. Now, hopefully, I would say something to you, like point that out to you in a loving kind of spirit, right? But don't the things that I say to you. If I say, "Yo, man, you're getting lazy," or "Hey, you could pick it up in this area or do better," or you tell me, "Hey, let's go," like you get on me a lot about creating content or picking up the grind, a little more with our platform and things of that nature. And I have to listen to that and be willing to accept that constructive criticism and not take it personal, right? And then I can't assume, oh, she's feeling this, or oh, she's thinking that, or oh, like I can't make those assumptions. I have to ask the necessary questions in order to find the clarity that I need. And that will free me up to move on to the next phase that I think that folks should go into. But go ahead, you were about to say something.
Well, I was about to say that's deep. Everything you said is true, and that's a little deep, meaning a little more under the surface. But just on the surface, just be intentional. I look at our dear friends Keisha and Gary. And when it comes to this,
Keisha and Gary
dating,
Moore. Oh my goodness.
Yep. When it comes to
They
this
date each
dating,
other.
they literally date each other, whether they taking things personal or not. They are dating each other.
They are out.
Simply because they are being intentional. They have their calendar. They plan dates. They have a date night every Friday. They meet up with friends that they have their dates with. They go out of town. They plan their trips. Like they are hyper constant. When concerts are coming into town, they're on it. Like everything that they can do together, they do it. Simply be intentional. And this is the thing. They don't have a perfect relationship. Who does? But the point is, because of all the dating that they do, their relationship runs much smoother. And Keisha says all the time, "This is my boyfriend. I'm out with my boyfriend. Look at me and my boyfriend. We at the concert. Me and my boyfriend, me and my boyfriend, me and my boyfriend." All the time.
And
right?
it's not,
Because
it's
that's
not
how
just words.
Right.
It's
That's
her actions.
literally how she feels. That's how he feels. He's like, my favorite person is Keisha. Like, I love hanging out with Keisha. And even if you are not there, y'all, listen to me.
Come on.
Even if you are not there, if you are intentional and you make it a priority, this is a decision you make. You can get there. You can go from not standing to be around each other, which is where Shannon and I were, to now you just want to hang out all the time. Like your free time, you're like, I want to be with my babe. I don't hang out a lot.
No, you don't. We don't. We're not hangouters.
We're not hangouters.
We're not out with the boys or with the and your girl. I mean, you do have a couple of girls here, but you still don't hang out with them a lot.
Right, as much like I'm not calling them and yo, let's go do this, let's go do that. I mean, right? I like to hang out with Shannon. I like to spend time with Shannon.
And to our credit, we have done more boyfriend girlfriend stuff since we moved to Atlanta than we have probably our entire marriage.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But like you said, the surface the surface things. One of the things that we coach our clients to do is we ask our clients to go out on ice cream dates. Right? Because it's very hard to argue with someone while you're eating ice cream. That's just very difficult.
When you're licking an ice cream cone.
Right? It's just kind of,
Yeah.
it's just, right? So but that's time where you can, it's nostalgic. Like it takes your being back to a certain time. Hopefully it wasn't a negative time. But ice cream is one of those things that you just kind of,
Right. It takes you back to your childhood. Like
you're a kid, right? When the ice cream truck came down the road and what have you. And you never heard of anybody arguing or fighting or fussing at while eating ice cream. You just never heard of it. And when you go together, it's really like it's an opportunity to be in the purest state of that boyfriend girlfriend type of space. Where you can talk about your heart, you can talk about your dreams, you can talk about, you can be silly, you can be goofy.
You know what's interesting? I was talking to someone who was, I was coaching a young lady, and the fiance at the time was having a hard time getting through to her some of the challenges he had with her. So I said to her, do you have a group of girlfriends? She was like, yes. And I said, do you have like really close girlfriends that will tell you about yourself? She said, yeah, I do. And I said, so they do, right? They tell you like, nah, girl, you don't need to be doing this or what. She's like, yeah, I got a couple of those who will be very upfront with me. And I said, when they do, what do you do? She said, I mean, I listen and, I hear what they have to say. And I was like, so if you agreed with them, what would you say? And she's like, oh no, I like when they say stuff that I said, if you don't agree with them, what do you say? She said, well, I don't I don't like it. She said, but I know that they're telling the truth. And I said, why don't you do that with your husband? And a literal light bulb, or your fiance, a literal light bulb came on with her. Because she allowed her girlfriends to hold her accountable and to check her.
But she wouldn't allow her.
But when it came, most of us are like that. Most of us are like that. Listen, Keisha came to the house and like got on me for real about something serious. And I completely changed. It was about the boys. They were little kids and I was a yeller. She came to the house, brought a book, and was like, Shirley, I know you love the boys and everything, so this isn't about any of that, but, just when you yell at them and what it can do. And she read a passage out the book. And since then, I have been very cognizant of my parenting. Now, if you had said that to me,
it would have been fire and brimstone.
Why? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we got to stop treating each other like the enemy. We got to stop thinking the worst of each other. Right? I always tell people, err on the side of thinking the best about your spouse. Period.
Let that
lead everything. Just think the best about them. Because once you think the worst about them, you're going to think they're attacking you and they're trying to get one up on you and they want to make you feel like it's all these narratives that are created. Nobody can have a boyfriend-girlfriend connection and dynamic in a marriage with that type of mentality and thinking.
You can't have a boyfriend girlfriend relationship like if you have that kind of contention in a marriage in a premarital relationship. That's not going to last.
That's right.
That's not going anywhere. That's not going to yield any positive fruit. And people really need to accept the fact, like this was one of the things that helped us to really kind of shift. When I would say to you, babe, I'm not the enemy. Like that had to eventually click with you.
Yeah.
It didn't click right away.
No, it didn't.
Right? You were just like, no. It was this, your dukes were up. Now, probably one of the reasons why you were able to receive that though from Keisha is because you did not feel attacked by her.
Yes.
Right? So there are
Absolutely.
ways that we can communicate
That's
with
right.
each other that creates this kind of safe environment that allows our spouse to come to us and say what is on their heart or something that they have observed. But anything else is criticism.
Right. So, which is interesting you say that because you'll hear spouses, especially the males, right? But male and female. So let's just not even make one sex over the other. Say, I'd share with my spouse something and they're not listening. They won't receive it. And you do have to look at, well, how are you delivering it?
If you're coming in with a certain kind of posture, if your tone is not right.
And I will say a lot of times, the men have a hard time saying it because men are so matter of fact. You know what I'm saying?
Getting straight to the point.
Getting straight to the point, and we take that as them being mean, right? And so I think as men, you guys need to tone really is a serious thing. I mean, men and women.
Men and women, definitely, because there's some women out there with some slick mouths.
Yes.
With some foul tones.
Really,
Some evil facial expressions. Right? If looks could kill, folks would be just dropping.
This is just so stupid.
Right? Because of looks, right? So all of those, these ways that we communicate in these verbals, with these nonverbals, are just as important as what is being said.
Yes.
And I know you get on me all the time, and you're like, it's just not that simple. But man, eat. Y'all stop having these deep conversations out there, and y'all hungry because y'all are nipping at each other and really, going after each other. And you don't realize that you're doing it because you're hungry. You're not doing it because you just, you're just trying to share your heart. Like you actually hungry and you nipping at somebody's heels, and it's like, where is this coming from? Well, I don't like this attitude. You always, right? And watch that. Watch those you always, you never. Those types of that type of terminology does not endear somebody to you.
Yeah.
And the goal to get back to that kind of girlfriend, boyfriend space, like we know it's not fairy tales.
Right.
When I'm not talking about the fairy tale.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
Like, that place where your palms are a little sweaty, like, where you're getting dressed for her. I'm getting dressed for you, or I'm laying out a particular outfit and I'm like, oh, she gonna think I'm fire in this. Like getting to that point takes the ability to be able to respond in a non-confrontational way, right? A way that is not steeped in criticism. Nobody wants to hear you always this. You don't never do this. You just ain't know this. No one wants to hear that.
Yep. So one of the pieces of homework that we can give you guys is both of you
definitely
plan a
ice
date.
cream date. Definitely the
ice cream date. And then plan a date. Right? And not your typical date, not the typical thing that you've done. Right?
What are you talking about? Like what? Give me an example.
I mean, when that one time you took me on a date was Christmas. Christmas time. And you know how you have towns that like all the houses on like the block lit up and there's music to there. It's a whole light show.
This past Christmas.
So this past Christmas, one of the things we did, we got in a car and we went and we sat in the neighborhood.
So let's explain it a little more. So there's houses with light shows, right? And the light shows are programmed to music.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you do is you go, it's like a kind of a stroll, right? You go to the house and then you tune your radio station to a particular channel, and then the show starts. And we roll down our window. That was fun.
That was fun.
That was very fun. We rolled down our windows and we cocked our feet up on the dash, and it was cold, so we had the heat on out, inside the car, and the cold air coming through, and we sat and watched,
And listen to the music, to all the Christmas.
all the songs you love, Santa Claus is coming to
and
town.
The lights were to the music.
We're programmed to the music.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Right,
so just something different, other than what you've already done.
I took you on that, but you are the one that came up with that.
I suggested that.
Yeah.
And you were so
I was reluctant
against it.
I was like, oh my God, that's going to be whack.
Shannon was not feeling it, but he was like, let me do it because it's what she wants to do. And then he loved it.
I loved it.
Yep.
It was so much fun.
It was fun.
And then we went and had pizza.
And we had,
Which I shouldn't have ate.
Yep. I know.
Right?
Quick fire question.
Right.
If you had to describe me as a meal, what meal would it be?
If I had to describe you as a meal, it would be a, what's the name of the place?
What?
What's the name of the place? The barbecue place with the beef rib.
Oh, dang, the barbecue place here?
Yeah. Brothers.
Fox Brothers.
It would be the Fox Brothers plate rib, drenched in some sort of good, tangy barbecue sauce. Just meaty and succulent and just juicy. Just messy. It's just messy. Just juice all over it, right? And which I don't eat anymore, but if I had to describe you,
right?
And with a cold, perfectly sweetened Arnold Palmer. That would be the meal. That would be the meal.
All right.
Quick fire question for you.
Uh-oh.
Alabama or
Time
Auburn?
is up. Oh, come on, Alabama, baby. Alabama. Roll Tide.
Look, this has been an amazing time with my boo. My name is Shannon Austin. And
Shirley.
This is Shirley Austin, my boo. And this is the My Marriage is Dope podcast. Listen, you can find us so many different places. You can find us everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Marriage Inc. You can also find wonderful marriage enrichment resources at our website, marriageinc.us. And
our book
has been
written
a life-changing read for some people. That book is entitled Husband, Becoming the Husband She Needs and Wants.
And our merch.
It's coming soon. You can't even find merch right now, but we just slowly but surely getting the merch game together and gonna roll out some nice stuff for the fall.
For the fall, yep. These are the sweatshirts, right?
One of the many
So,
sweatshirts. Yep. This is the ladies' cropped sweatshirt.
I had to put a T-shirt on.
Because we didn't want to show all her goodies. You can't be looking at her goodies.
It's so cute.
It's a cropped sweatshirt.
Cute. Yes.
You just wearing it like this.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I'm wearing it, boy.
Come on.
You're wearing yours too, boy.
Come on, baby. Come on. All
right. I'm
right.
excited.
So we'll see you guys on the next episode. My Marriage is Dope. Make your marriage dope, right? Yep. This is the Marriage is Dope podcast with Shannon and Shirley. Peace.